Hi, my name is Ed Nodlin, and I'm going to talk today about an effort known as Housing the Next 1 Million. I'm going to hide myself behind the screen here. That way you can better see the presentation. SANDAG's report, San Diego Forward Regional Plan, forecast 1 million more citizens by 2050 in San Diego County. You've probably heard about this on the news. You know, the housing crisis, housing density, increased density along transportation corridors. And last year, a broad San Diego coalition called Housing You Matters was started by the Building Industry Association, Habitat for Humanity, the Urban Land Use Institute, the Association of Realtors, the San Diego Architectural Foundation, and the American Institute of Architects, and others. Housing You Matters has their own website. It is housingyoumatters.org. And on here is some good information on policies, studies, and actions. I want to point out the Innovative Housing Ideas page. There's a link here to get a hold of Phil Bona. He is currently the leader behind the Housing the Next 1 Million. In March of 2017, 12 interdisciplinary teams were formed made up of volunteer architects, planners, landscape architects, engineers, universities, community representatives, and many others. And I want to point out here this is all voluntary. The meetings are just getting started by these teams. The work on what these teams are going to do are available in a white paper, and I'll go over where you can get access to that here in just a minute. The white paper covers the areas that will be addressed. It explains why, talks about what a charrette is, and the problems, the goals, all the stuff you'd expect to see. And then following this is each area of each of the 12 teams. To form the teams across San Diego, one quick and easy way to do this would just form teams around the current council districts. And so Team 1 basically represents the communities in District 1. So you got Team 1, Team 2, downtown, and I won't go through all of them here. And then there's also 3 teams out in the county. The first one being up in the San Marcos area, second one the greater El Cajon area, and Team 3 the southern area, Chula Vista, National City. There's also at the end of this white paper some sketches and ideas on future ideas. The other thing that's real important is that we continuously work to break down silos of project development and issue resolution as much as possible. And that's what this talk is all about. How can we align ourselves and work together more and more as we go forward? I'm seeing more and more activity over the last year and a half of organizations and projects reaching out, connecting, going to each other's meetings, and starting to work together in an aligned fashion and utilize those resources. And it's not just about building more housing units to house 1 million people. This effort must include all aspects of live, learn, work, play, and retire. To be sustainable and resilient, our vision and plans must involve the whole system. Not just population growth and housing density, but also look at the homelessness. They're part of our community and need housing. All the infrastructure from water, power, medical, parks, shops, recreational centers, libraries, and the other amenities that we expect in our communities. Transportation, major infrastructure piece. Multimodal. Community fabric, socially engaging with each other's and nature's in safe neighborhoods. What's our economic fabric? How are people making money? Are they making enough money to afford housing? How do we live, work, and play in ways that we don't have to commute clear across the region to where we work? Economical, workplace housing intermixed throughout the county. Tourism is a big benefit to San Diego. It's also an impact and needs to be considered. There's major changes emerging in education. and the way we work. A lot of changes taking place due to the internet. Malls took over the little stores. Amazon's taking over the malls. What's next? What's changing there? Major increases in aging population and people simply living longer is going to change the way that a large percentage of our population lives. Responsibilities of community, business, city, and government is changing, and we need to work on the relationships between them. Rather than pointing fingers at each other, we need to find ways to work together to align and collaborate. Long-term sustainability and protection of our limited resources, our open spaces, marine and wildlife, clean air, and all the climate change issues that are going to affect all of us globally also need taken into account. To do this, I have a diagram here, a structure to create systemic alignment for real change. I'm going to start off by talking about these 12 teams that are formed, and they're going to look at their communities and come up with plans and ideas, futuristic. And in 2018, the idea is, okay, what zoning changes and planning changes and city government processes need to change to support these ideas? Some of the ideas may be too futuristic to implement in the next 10 or 20 years, but they may be reality in 2050 or even 2070. These teams are going to also be working with their council reps and community reps, coordinating with planning groups and town councils, and not just to work with them, but also to get the word out, to let the entire San Diego community know what's going on. Government departments, other local organizations, industry leaders, local businesses, and get the word out amongst our neighborhoods. I think we should also be working with schools, such as second graders, fourth graders, eighth graders, having them do projects, having them be involved, turning them into young citizens, the next generation, that see civic engagement and civic responsibility as part of their regular way of life. Now, all of this requires some leadership. Right now, that's primarily Phil Bona. He's currently the president of AIA San Diego chapter. He has got this started and kicked off these 12 teams, and things are just getting going. I think the leadership team is going to grow a little bit here as we get things going. But Phil's not going to be, and a leadership team's not going to be able to handle everything. There's a lot of resources that are needed to really help 12 teams like this get underway. We need to find people that are experts in communication, that have connections to people in communications, people that can connect with Voice of San Diego, the Union Trib, the televisions, other newspapers, work on internet solutions for communication. These teams are going to be coming up with their own tools and techniques, and some of those are going to be very valuable. I'd like to see a team formed that just looks at what's going on in the ways of tools and techniques and refines those. Find, what is Team 8 doing that's really working? What is Team 5 doing? What's not working for Team 11 or Team 2? Bring those in and build a really good tool chest and communicate those out to all the other working teams and all the other teams in other boxes besides just the working teams. Pulling together interns or resources from engineering firms, internet firms, communications and marketing firms to work on specific areas, whether it be creating maps and diagrams or automated CADs in urban village fly-throughs, doing tech support. Basically a whole series of research team or resource teams. There's also a lot of industry experts out there doing a lot of good work today. I'm not going to go into the whole list of them here, but the more I get involved, the more I keep finding there's more meetings than I can go to in a week, in a month. People that are working on transportation, green development, education systems, healthcare and aging, planning and zoning. The list just goes on and on. Where am I? Number 5. Okay. These resource teams and industry experts are also going to be interfacing with others, the media, sources of money and grants, businesses, universities, government resources, industry leaders, to pull together the expertise that they can then share with the working teams, and the working teams can coordinate back with experts and resources to make this all happen. Now, how do we orchestrate and align some of this stuff? We need some way to have team leaders from all these different areas, expertise, the working teams in the community come together. I don't know if this is going to, emerge into an annual conference or biannual or quarterly meetings, whether it's all online, go-to meetings, information on the internet. But we need a team of these leaders to get the word out, to orchestrate, to find out what the difficulties are, and take guidance from a higher level leadership team. The final effort in here, number 9, is you try to do work with these different organizations. The leaders, the CEOs, the government leaders behind that might not be in alignment with what's happening down below. So we need that leadership team to be having key meetings with mayors, the county supervisor, CEOs of businesses, leaders of our universities, to pull together alignment at that top level. So this is what I see emerging. And I don't see that we need to create this as much. We've created the 12 working teams. What we need to do is communicate and align, because a lot of this is already out there, all set to go. So that pretty much, let's see, no, I want to go over, I don't know if I did hit the charrette paper. I just want to hit the housing, the Next Million website, HN1M.org. The site was just set up today, real quickly. Has a little opening statement here by Phil. It shows some of the meetings that have been going on, the pre-charrette meetings. And on here is a link to the pre-charrette team white paper. Go out and read that through. And I'm going to get a contact us put up onto this website as well here in the next day or two. And that way you can click in there to find out how to get involved and align with this effort. I hope you've enjoyed the talk and hope to see you at some of our upcoming meetings.